In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to finish off the inside of a seam if you don't have lining or you don't want to use bias binding. This is a really easy way to do this when you have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So first thing you'll do is you'll put your right sides together, just like normal, and stitch your seam line. Now that you have that stitched, you're going to press the seam open. Using your iron, press the seams open first with your fingers. Now to finish this off super easy, what we're going to do is on each side of the seam allowance here, we're going to fold it in half down towards the seam line. So it'll look like that. So I am going to do that on both sides and press it flat. So you see here that both of these seam allowances, both sides of the seam allowances are folded in half and pressed towards the back side of the fabric. So it's already looking really nice. The last step is to secure this seam allowance with some stitching. So now we have this all ready to stitch. What we're going to do is we're going to stitch right along the edge of each seam allowance. We do not want to stitch all the way through the fabric. So I'm going to fold this back so I just have the bit of seam allowance. You can see. And I'm going to stitch right along the edge. So as you can see, the very edge of the fabric is inside the presser foot. So I'm going to stitch right along this edge here. And then I will do that with the other side. Remembering not to stitch all the way through the other side of the fabric, so just stitching through the seam allowance. So there you have it, a super easy way to finish off the insides of your seams without using bias binding or without having a lining. It's really easy to do. It's great with 1/2 inch seam allowance. It can be done last minute, really, if you just want to make it super clean and super pretty on the inside.